The world is full of noise and full of people who don't know how to stop talking. They think that by talking more step to increasing your influence and authority is to learn how to become a more silent person. Besides the most valuable ability to master your emotions, there are a lot of other advantages of silence. Now, before moving on to these advantages, however, a word of warning: silence is practiced mainly by the upper and lower extremes of the socio-sexual hierarchy, and obviously the difference between these two forms of silences is drastic. You see, the communication of a silent person is indirect, meaning that instead of your words you are communicating with your aura, character, body language, facial expressions, etc. These things become the center of attention for silent people and are the basis for determining their status. When you are entering any given space, you must have inner confidence and a sense of control to achieve the alpha status. Only then your silence will give you the advantages that I'm going to explain, like in these, and you risk becoming the invisible omega. Now let's take a look at some of the key advantages of being more silent. People pay more attention to you. The secret to getting more attention is being different from the norm, or in other words, being elusive. It is human nature to want to express yourself and to get other people to understand you and what you stand for, and so you will find many people putting in all their efforts into accomplishing this task. You, however, can free yourself from such desire, knowing that your silence and air of mystery will automatically drive more and more attention towards you, and you will eventually be able to share your message in a very respectful way. Safety from enemies, attacks. The people who hate you or want bad things to happen to you will pounce on every opportunity they can get, harm you or put you down in some way. By keeping your silence and elusiveness, you ensure that they never get to have such a chance. Although there is no guaranteed safety from tragedy, attacks and insults, the odds will always be in your favor if you maintain your quietude. This is especially important if you are impulsive by nature, because enemies who might have this knowledge about you can easily use it to provoke you in some way. In fact, you can turn the tables by acting calm and bait them into doing something rash. You become respected and feared. Let me get this straight: there is no fear without mystery. There is no denying it, and you won't be able to find any alternative. In fact, the most effective way to appear timid or non-threatening is to become more talkative and agreeable. And of course, these are not necessarily bad things, as there is a time for everything. But if you want more respect and authority, you can't get it by simply following your heart and talking it all out. That is easy, but leadership is always the opposite of easy. You always have the upper hand if you are the kind of person if you're a calm person and don't talk much, people don't know your thumb screws, and so they also don't know your weaknesses. They can neither harm you nor seduce you into doing something harmful, and even if the cynics among them become paranoid of you, they won't know what to attack. If you have a strong character and integrity underneath your silence and calm demeanor, people will always look up to you. The good ones can't leave you and the bad ones can't harm you. You become a great listener or observer. As of yet, no one has the ability to speak and listen at the same time, so if your focus is always on what you're going to say, then your listening and observing skills will become weak. Now, the question why listening is more important than speaking is similar to the question why saving is more important than spending. To gather more information about your environment and other people, if you must sharpen your observing and listening skills, and to sharpen those skills you will first have to learn how to silence your mind. You see, men control. No one likes less confidence. The more you have it, the better off you will be. But there can be no confidence without a sense of control. Control not necessarily over other people, but over yourself, your circumstances, and of the things that can directly or indirectly affect you. Now, even if you don't actually have that unvarying sense of control, you can still project the impression of control outward by embracing silence. However, you should be aware that quietude alone won't help you project that, or you will also have to quiet your mind and empty it of any fear-based or negative thoughts. Only then you will be perceived in such a way. You open yourself to interpretations. People love to categorize. They like to have a definition or a clear mental model for everything. By not defining yourself and by being silent and ambiguous, you get people to invest a lot of mental energy. This not only helps them remembering you in the long run, but also it creates conflicting opinions. These different opinions and interpretations give you more leverage, makes you unpredictable, and gives you more power. King Louis XIV is by far the best example of a person who opened himself to an almost unlimited amount of interpretations simply because he would remain calm and silent, listen to his courtiers, and in the end would say nothing more than a short "I shall see." Your words hold more meaning when you speak less. People pay more attention. They also not only remember whatever it is you said, but also they ponder and meditate upon on at creating more and more meaning. With more meaning comes a better understanding, and with better understanding comes influence. How to embrace the power of silence. The art of being silent includes but is not limited to just being more quiet. First and foremost, it involves a certain stillness of your mind. This is because it will help you project the aura of calmness and confidence. The second part is to direct your focus outward and improving your ability to observe. Last but not least, you must avoid both the tendency to judge or impress other people, and that's pretty much it. Embrace these three things and all of the benefits I have explained will find their way towards you. When to talk. Obviously there are going to be times when you must not remain silent, or you may get into all kinds of trouble. These are insecure leader or authority. When dealing with an insecure leader or any head of a group, your silence will definitely arouse suspicion. Therefore it is better if you talk more in order to appear more calm and clarifying expectations. There are going to be times when you must justify yourself for your actions, or you'll be perceived as guilty, immoral, or ruthless. Means you will have to give a clear and accurate description of whatever the thing it was. These scenarios mostly come in close personal relationships. Staying silent here can do a lot of damage. When pushed around, inevitably someone somewhere will take you for granted or consider you a pushover. At this point you must prove yourself, otherwise you'll be labeled. If you feel like silence is not for you, then you will have to work your way towards the quote-unquote loudmouth, the alpha male. But keep in mind that in this case your influence will be limited. At the end of the day, self-control and silence will bring more options, more peace, and a more lasting form of power. There are times where it is unwise to be silent, as it can arouse suspicion, but when done right, it is highly beneficial. You appear more powerful. Powerful people impress and intimidate by saying less. The more you say, the higher chance you have of looking like a fool. If you hear someone constantly talking about how great they are, you would think they are a narcissist or full of crap. Louis XIV would always have his courtiers tremble in fear when delivering bad news. He would always say, "I shall see," and follow it with intimidating silence. This was a very powerful man, and his silence was one of the foundations of his power. Although you might not be a king, you can still use silence to appear more powerful. What you say will mean more and carry more weight when you say something. If you are often silent, people will often find you unpredictable and hard to read, and thus be more drawn to you. You will learn to read people. If you are often silent, you will often be listening and observing others. You can spot liars and see through people's true intentions because they might slip up trying to fill the silence. When you are silent, you have the opportunity to read someone's body language and see if it matches the words they are saying. Over time, you can start to notice trends and can start reading people based on a few observations. The power to read someone is a powerful skill you can learn by being silent. The information you can get from reading someone is powerful, and you can use it to make someone more or less uncomfortable depending on your intentions. Once words are out, you can't take them back. You don't want to say something you will regret. Silence is a great way to help with self-control. Sometimes, your superiors might mistreat you and you want to lash out in the moment. You might feel satisfied in the moment after lashing out, but it is not worth the price to pay in the future. Serving your ego only takes you further away from the things you want in life. Hold your tongue, calm down, and then respectfully hold your ground. Make sure you have a strategic response rather than just vent your emotions. Even if your superior is in the wrong, venting your emotions can make the situation worse. Address the situation properly and make sure they make it up to you. If you are often mistreated though, you should leave. You will be a great listener and people will love talking to you. If you read Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People, you might remember the story of Dale talking to a florist at a dinner party. Dale was mostly listening the whole time while the florist would talk on and on. At the end of the party, the florist would go on to tell the host Dale was one of the best conversationalists he ever spoke to. Dale got praised for being silent most of the time, and you can replicate the same situation. People want to be heard and understood. By being silent and listening, you will make the other person feel good as they are speaking. If you are comfortable talking less and listening more, you will appear more charismatic. Silence is a great negotiation tool. In negotiations, both parties want something from the other. Long drawn-out pauses are awkward and uncomfortable for both parties. If you can be comfortable with the silence, You will have the upper hand in negotiating. It is human nature to fill the void of silence, so the other side will get nervous and can cave into what you want. The silence will make it appear that the other party needs you more than you need them. You can also use the silence to plan out what you want to say next. If you end up talking a lot instead, the other side can see that you might be nervous and they will have the upper hand in negotiations. You don't want to be giving too much information away because it can and will be used against you.